Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Championship Sunday here, MLG Anaheim 2012. Bridgington III and David Freak Turley about to bring you the grand finals. Are you guys ready out there in the crowd? That's what I like to hear, Freak. We have an amazing matchup and a little bit of deja vu as well.
Yeah, we've got, an old school matchup, kind of one for the ages. You've got Team Solomid and Counterlogic Gaming. These guys are no strangers to grand finals.
Nope.
They fought against each other so many times in the past. They are just phenomenal, phenomenal teams. And, these guys have not fought yet in this tournament, though. They've not fought here. So this is a repeat of the IPL 4 finals where Counterlogic Gaming came through that lower bracket and Team Solomid from the upper bracket. And last time, CLG did take that first best-of-3, and then TSM came back, took the second. Other fun little tidbit, last time Counterlogic Gaming won a big tournament, they had a sub.
Yeah.
This time around, they have a sub. So X Hazard might be what they need to actually win this game.
You know, he's been huge for them, able to, as we saw in that previous game just now from the lower brackets, that he can absorb that hotshot role. He can play that 4v1 they like to turn into late game and leave a very tanky champion. Usually not Cho'Gath on X Hazard, but that Shen, very viable for both hotshot and X Hazard. So an awesome champion to have. Could be looking for TSM to ban that one out here.
Yeah. So, and actually I've been reading up on the forums in between the games and been sitting here browsing through it, and it was like, so what happens when Solomid first picked or bans Nocturne, Nautilus? What's going to happen to Hotshot? He got him, I think, every single game against Dignitas. And actually, you know what? Enough filling time. We're in a Champions Select anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it for the game as we get into Champions Select, guys.
And we do see a little bit of CC being banned out there, that crowd control from Alistar, as well as Kennen from both teams. They do not want to give Reginald that Kennen. I was speaking with some of the rioters before in the crowd, and they were saying that AoE composition is huge. You can't play poke with Kennen. He's going to jump on you. And as these guys ban out, it's going to be the last one for Purple Team. CLG NA is going to get their last ban out, and we're going to go and see what TSM has to say about this pick after we get the CLG ban.
We've got two interesting things here. So first of all, Urgot getting banned out, even though KX has done well with it before, to the best of my recollection, they just don't want to deal with the Urgot gameplay whatsoever. And let's see if Solomid's actually going to deny that Nautilus. It's not going to be the case. They'll just take Janna and let Hotshot play that jungler. I don't know, this seems reminiscent of the last MLG at Providence, where it was like ban Maokai, nope.
Yep.
And if they go ban Nautilus, nope, that could be kind of a worry here. Shen is a heavy consideration here. That's what I would expect to see come out here actually. Hazard actually clicking on that right now. Big Fat LB just clicking the buttons. I'm guessing it's going to be that Nautilus though. That's what I think he's going to settle in on. That's going to be their pick here. For he'll just keep clicking buttons for now. But that Shen already locked in. They know they want that.
And they may be going for it. Let's go and see what TSM has. Dyrus and the odd one now choosing. Let's get a quick listen in with these guys to counter those first two picks of CLG NA.
You guys better have good engage.
Engage or actually
we don't have engage yet, so can we just counter jungle Nocturne, or do we need this?
If we do a 2-1, yes.
We can get Karthus, we can get Karthus now if we want Karthus, since Morgana's banned. I don't know.
We can get Karthus right now if you don't want to show anything. Graves, just get Graves early.
Graves for sure.
Graves what?
Do you want to get anything early at all? Or no?
We're gonna counter jungle, right?
We are, yeah.
We can do a Nocturne, but it's slightly
we
harder.
can just get Graves Nocturne right now.
20 seconds. Graves okay, fine.
Or you can do Graves Mundo. You can go Mundo if you want.
We need engage though.
Okay, just go Nocturne. Just go Nocturne.
Okay.
Happy
Graves.
birthday
Wait, who am I
to
picking?
Graves, good. Happy birthday
to Dyrus. Happy birthday.
Oh, that happy birthday cheer for Dyrus. Oh, Solomid.
So good. And you can you can hear the composition that they're trying to get. Initiation with those last two picks.
You can see, though, they were actually heavily considering Karthus in there. Said if we want Karthus, we need it now. So interesting, we'll see if Counterlogic Gaming, kind of spies out what they're considering. Said, Morgana's banned, so, we got to go Karthus now if we want it. And that's not going to be the case here. A lot of options still available, of course, to Big Fat, Anivia, Kog'Maw. Yep. We know that Karthus was a good pick against Kog'Maw before, where he just gets to farm in that lane. and we'll see if that ends up being what they're given. But looks like we can listen on CLG now.
I like Corky. I like Corky.
All right,
better.
Corky Galio. That sounds good.
Why don't? Okay.
It's either Corky Galley or Corky Tarek or Corky
It's either Corky Galio or Corky Terex.
Tarek
Corky
or
Gallia.
Gallia?
Yeah.
All right, I'm picking the Corky.
Galileo Corky. I've never seen that before.
Now we need huge AP damage. I think Rise gets
Very good picks there. They are going for a lot of resistance here. And again, a very tanky frontline team for these guys. They kind of pulled this out last time. Now using Galio, however.
Yeah, and Gallia used very often as the support, actually, for Counterlogic Gaming. Chow's just been playing him a whole lot. I think we've seen Galio 2-3 times in this tournament, played to amazing effect. Chowster, one of those times. Fnatic, Xpeka also playing him exceptionally well. And right now, Solomid considering Zillion. We had not seen that in a long time. Now they were considering that Karthus, and they say, yeah, that's what we're going to go for here. Now, I got to believe that Solomid knows that Galio can be played mid and as support, so they know these are actually two separate options here. And they don't have guaranteed support picks or a guaranteed mage pick. And it's going to be Dyrus heavily considering Kale. And that Kale-Karthus combo exceptionally strong because Karthus dives in there, says, I'm just going to deal damage, you know, come at me, see what happens. And then Kale gets to pop that invulnerability, and nothing then actually happens to Karthus. It makes it extremely easy for him to just kind of run in there, absorb all the damage, and not care too much. That Kale ultimate has exceptionally long range, so if Galio puts on his ultimate and taunts everyone in, if Kale's in the back, he will be able to invulnerable someone in that combo and make sure they don't get bursted down.
Yeah, and now it's up to CLG. Doublelift now picking the last champion. It looks like they have their jungler. Looks like they have their top. Now looking for what could be a support or the AP mid if it's not going to be Galio. Let's listen in with CLG here.
There it is.
Look like, you know, quick satisfaction with that pick. Really nothing to discuss. They already know they kind of wanted that Corky, or they wanted rather that Rise for Big Fat. So the picks are going to be down Freak. We have our two comps. What are you seeing?
So I'm liking the picks that were made right here for Counterlogic Gaming. So again, that Karthus Kale combo, really, really strong. John Graves, they've been running it pretty much all tournament. Solomid's been loving that lane, and that's fine. It's going to work well for them. And they have Nocturne as their one sole initiator. Someone who can jump in there and say, hey, if you guys don't come fight me, you're going to get feared for 2 seconds, and it's going to hurt really bad for you. However, I really like Counterlogic Gaming's lineup. They've got Corky getting protected by a nice, gigantic meat wall. Rise going to be doing so much damage in these battles, and I like that Rise versus Karthus lane. It's going to be really strong.
Yeah, it is. We are going to see this matchup, the grand finals, right after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere at home and stay in your seats here, the Anaheim Convention Center. All right, guys, welcome back. Championship Sunday here at the Anaheim Convention Center. Now, we've done this with cheer for your favorite team, but I want you guys to break these boots. I want TSM to hear you. If you want TSM to win, chant for TSM.
All right, and on the flip side, thankfully also a 3-letter acronym. If you want to see Counterlogic Gaming take it over, let me hear you cheer and then start the chant for CLG.
We have just divided the audience. Hopefully there are no crazy fistfights going on. Oh my God, TSM! TSM taking the chant over the North American favorite coming into this tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, your game underway, a minute 40 in. Very cautious play from both teams, helping the junglers start on the Wraith for Hotshot. Again, Nautilus for his 4th game in a row.
Yeah, and Hotshot is just loving that pick right there. And we'll see if that comes to bite Solomid in the end, or if they're really not worried about this champion. You know, they had that time off between the last game. They got to watch CLG fight against Dignitas. They do know what their main strategies are here. They should know what their tendencies are, who their laners are, what kind of things they like to do. And Nautilus just, again, starting off on that red buff. Spites it down, we'll take that Lizard. Might go for an early gank.
Yeah, Hotshot liking to go for the Wraiths and then the Lizards. We'll always see him a quick Nautilus into the lane. It looks like he's going to go for Karth this year. He is going to pop down. He may just go for Wolves first to get that extra skill. He will not be level 3 yet, and it looks like the creep and one from Blue may give it to him. We'll see what he does with that. Nocturne clearing the Wraiths right now in very good position, almost full health, and he's going to quickly go for this mid or pressure on that Blue.
Yeah, he's running around. They do have that ward. They know Hotshot's over there. He's going to have to go for the Wolves right now. And, of course, they already put the early ward down to know Audun was invading. That's such good knowledge to know what the other players like to do. That ward early on says, oh, yeah, we know you know I start red. We know you're going to invade and go for it. Try it. I dare you. Oh, we saw you. Oh, look, no gank.
You know, with those wards, they're pretty much talking to each other right there as one walks by the other. He sees him back up and not go for Blue. The odd one instantly knows, you know, that's not a jungle pattern. You don't stop. Something's up here. So those guys knowing exactly what's going on with the conversation between those wards. The Blue, however, being contested here by Xpecial, just trying to throw out, and they're really forcing this because they have Nocturne on the top, and Xpecial didn't mind. They didn't want to waste cooldowns on him because they were about to get taken over by Graves or Nocturne to come up and help.
Yeah, in the meantime, to this top lane, I got to hand it to Dyrus right now. I think he's going to end up doing a very good job on this lane. 2 points so far in Reckoning.
Just laughing.
1 in Righteous Fury. Yeah, and he's just dealing some damage, right? He's got 16 minions. Shen only at 7. These minion waves actually equivalent by this point. They've actually just met up at that turret, and Dyrus just does not seem to care. He's doing so much damage to them, and he's just doing a very dominant job so far in lane.
Looks like we are watching that bottom lane now. Xpecial and Chaos, a very nice combo there. Graves already doing quite a bit of damage with his buckshots, getting a little bit more AD from Janna's shield as well, allows him to be more aggressive with that passive True Grit armor magic resistance upon auto attack, and there it is. That quick draw into Buckshot. Hotshot coming up from the right side. He does have red buff. Lockdown onto Dyrus. Here comes the odd one. The odd one does have the fear tether down. Terror onto Hotshot. It will not affect, and they will both have to back out of this one. The red buff and blue still stay on the odd one. Well played by both teams.
Yeah, and already a gold advantage being built out to Solomid. Their lanes are exceptional right now. You can see them already accruing 600 gold. This early on, just from minion kills, is really, really a lot right now. So we'll see if this gets converted into something special. Reginald having to run back away from Big Fat. A nice bit of aggression there from Rise. Xpecial getting hit pretty hard. It looks like this bottom lane starting to get a lot better for CLG. Now, one thing to remember, of course, is their bottom lane is really kind of picked for late game. They've got Galio in there, who's not really the best laner, but you know, has some poke and then has the phenomenal late game ability.
Yeah, he went for pretty good armor on that. It's like hardly any magic resistance for his build, though, which is all right due to the team he's against. Is a lot of AD. Really, Karthus is only going to be the only one he's worrying about here. A great aggression by Chaos, continuously moving in, and you see the shield from Janna. That little bit more AD. Looks like Nautilus able to push Dyrus back a little bit more again and keep him from getting too far in lane. But Dyrus not losing any experience or gold. Happy to farm right in that position. Reginald backing, but out of sight to not allow anybody the upper hand on his positioning, as we see X-Hazard, you know, slowly moving through here. He's going to take the lane back, but will he decide to creep up on the side or the top bush? Looks like he's going for the under one.
Yeah, we're seeing a Shen mill about. Nocturne's or Nautilus waiting around still. Dyrus running out of mana, has no flash. This is looking pretty dangerous. Can Nautilus land that dredge line? Kale's like, no, I don't have any spells. I'm going to recall right here. He's getting pinged. Hazard wants to jump in and bait him in. He's going to pull Dyrus back a little bit. And Dyrus is actually going for the fight. He's taking the bait a little bit. Can Hazard pull him back far enough?
Hotshot being really patient now. He easily could have gotten in there. There's no flash down. We look over at X-Hazard. He does have flash up. But however, Hotshot not having too much to really help. But they are going to go in for it. Dyrus being attacked there, taking a little bit of health. but obviously keeping himself in the safe position. That time was not so much wasted. Hotshot was still picking up experience. Down below, Galio getting quite aggressive on Chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Some pressure going back and forth still. 600 gold, the lead right now for Team Solomid. Again, their lane's just doing so very, very well. 38 to 22 in the top lane. A little bit of pressure now. The odd one coming by. And whoa, Flash comes in, and there is the Karthus ultimate. Double It's going to go down. Chaucer weakened as well. But the Flash push in from Chaos did just enough damage. Pop the Ignite down, and that's the advantage you have when you got a Karthus. And that poor Shen got denied so much, he didn't have his ultimate. If he had hit 6, he would have had just a nice trade there. Put the shield on, no worries. But he didn't have that ability, so an excellent play by Solomid, getting to level 6 first and getting that pressure onto the bottom lane.
And that's going to be great for Reginald, especially for him. Now he's going to have that Catalyst to Protector build as he's got his Sapphire and Ruby. So he's going to be able to sustain very well. However, getting blue, so he's going to be able to stay in lane before even having to get his Catalyst and still soaking up so much. He's going to be very powerful soon.
Yeah, Reginald walking into lane with this is going to be a farming machine right now. This is where the tide starts to really turn here. Rise doesn't have a great answer to getting chain pushed. So Reginald will just shove this wave down. Look at that, using Defile just to deal the extra damage, knock these over, and he's going to run and go for this next wave. You can see Reginald recalling right now. He's going to miss one wave to the turret. Big Fat recalling right now, and Reginald's going to make him waste one wave to the turret.
And we do see the supports down bottom, identical buys there. And Hazard taking damage, the Ignite is down, so that damage is going to tick a little bit more. Beautiful Ignite as they are both wasting a Summoner spell to get out of that fair trade. We do have, as I said, the Vision Ward and Regular Ward on the supports. They're not getting too many assists right now as the only kill going to Reginald, but actually on the bottom it was Graves and Janna getting one off of that kill. Corky, your death so far. 8 minutes into the game. 10,000 gold to 9,000. There's a 1.4K lead right now, but Freak this early in the game, it's still anybody's, but TSM showing some good early aggression.
Yeah, well, the really big deal there, you know, the gold difference is there on all the lanes, but really right now what it's about is not global gold, but really matchup gold. It's, you know, Reginald getting that first blood against Big Fat means he's got a Catalyst, which means he's not going anywhere. The top lane, we've got Kale, who's already got Dorans and Zerker Greaves against just a Heart of Gold, which means he can still bully around. The bottom lane, not so much different, right? You're seeing, you're seeing Berserker Greaves versus regular boots, but the ultimate gold difference there, not very gigantic. It's going to be kind of okay on both sides.
Karthus warding, great job by Reginald warding the Wraiths and taking those, denying experience there. Double lift caught out, but he Valkyrie's in. The Valkyrie won't do any damage. A beautiful Howling Gale, but here comes Shen with the ultimate, and Chaos and both Special see that and say, we need to hightail it out of here, saving themselves and putting down those potions. It looks like they're still playing quite aggressive as they have no wards on that left side.
Yeah, there's a nice little try there by Counter Logic Gaming. Corky took a bad fight on purpose and tried to bait them into the brush, saying, fight us, we're really weak. And then as soon as Shen ult popped, he tried to Valkyrie into the way, especially with great reflexes though, popped that Howling Gale, knocked them away, and said, nah, we're not getting jumped on by a Shen. And it basically meant that Hotshot had to sit here trying to get minion kills underneath the turret, and Shen's not getting gold or XP.
Nope, Shen went to see if his Wraiths were there. Obviously not because of that ward. He's going to go ahead and back right on top of that. I don't know why. They're kind of giving him the idea that it's safe to farm in lane now. They did ping that ward was there because there was a red when it was placed. So just keeping the mentality of what's happening in the game and where the wards are. A jump down, Paranoia onto Hotshot. It looks like he could go down. His Requiem is through the air. No, he does not. A last hit by Kale with that extended range is going to be able to pick up a second kill. 2-0 in favor of TSM.
Wow, and Karthus is adding so much to the map, and that is the beauty of having great team communication, right? They talked about it during that pregame, orchestrating their picks and bans and orchestrating, if you want that Karthus, we got to grab him. It's a really important pick for them. Reginald, a great Karthus player, and you're seeing just the impact that he has playing Karthus. Shows up the fights that, they can't really react to. Yes, okay, they can know that Karthus is there in the game. They, of course, know he exists, but he just tips the fight into their favor by so much.
And Kale still pushing top, getting a little bit of damage down on that turret, hitting X Hazard when he can. If he can just back out in that range, see the turret tether him, he can just keep denying that turret shot and get that poke damage down. As they move up here, no forward wards in the bush or anything down bottom. They're kind of farming uncautiously, but they have the upper hand here, so rightfully so. TSM continues to push Corki and Galio back to their turret. Doublelift and Chowster not having a problem with this, but they'd really like to get some assistance, get some ganks in their lane, and they need to make up the gold that they've lost so far. As you said, it's really a lane per lane gold matchup right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2,000 gold lead is spread across a couple of different champions here, but Dyrus pulling very far ahead, as is Karthus. The bottom lane, again, I still think it's kind of neck and neck. Yes, there's a bit of an item advantage, but you can see that Doublelift just still only behind 9 to 10 minions the entire way through. That is not a significant disadvantage. He's going to keep up with that. So it doesn't matter how much pressure that he's getting is getting put on him by Chaos. He's just staying up, and that will continue throughout the game, is that he will be that same amount of gold behind. We'll look at the gold right now. Right, oh, sorry, a gank of the top lane. Dyrus not going to like this. Pop this ult at a very good time. They will save cooldowns. Dyrus will flash, try to get away. How soon in the Rune Prison? 2 seconds. Shen ult's going to go in to try to keep him on that. Yes, he's going to flash into range. And there is that turret dive. CLG Gaming bringing it back 1 to 2. An immediate counterattack as TSM goes for Dragon.
That was a very nice Shen ult. You know, they were going to be able to walk past that turret and make things happen, but with Kale slow, they didn't want Big Fat to be under the turret for too long. They were going to play it safe, and a beautiful turnaround here as TSM goes ahead, grabs themselves an objective.
Wow, Reginald somehow being able to shove mid the entire time. It's the second time that Big Fat has left mid, and both times Reginald says, okay, cool, I'll push, and I'll make your life pretty difficult. So they got the Dragon because of that gank, and they traded turrets because Reginald has already been pushing before. Now they've got such a numbers advantage, they're pushing another turret. Chaos will tank some damage here, he's going to be okay with it. And they've now done 2 turrets in a Dragon, just as a trade for 1 turret and a kill. That is a huge advantage here for Solomid. Excellent teamwork coming in here, and now Dyrus, despite having a death, is like, minions? Okay, I'll farm, that's fine.
Yeah, his turret goes down, and Dyrus now sits down in the bottom of top lane, and he's going to farm away. It's going to be very good for him. Galio now coming middle. And if he gets any vision on somebody, if they are hiding next to the turret, that mid lane is reset. The bottom lane is still a bottom lane. I don't know why they aren't down there farming. Corki and Galio both kind of milling about in different lanes right now.
Yeah, we can see them just kind of shoving around. CLG, I don't know what quite their strategy is going to be right now. Their bottom turret's still alive. It's actually pretty durable. Yeah. So is the one for Solomid. And so they can kind of freeze and Corki can farm. And that might be what they want to go for right here. They have really, really good late game. Again, Ryze, Galio, Corki, really big late game beasts. Of course, yes, so are, Graves, Kale, and Karthus. But, if they're losing, they want to get to a point where they're at least on equal footing. And equal footing is going to be late game for CLG Gaming right now. And so what they want to do is get to that state and get Corki into a really scary, scary place. And to do that, they want this lane to last as long as possible where Corki gets to farm. This is where Doublelift really, really shines. He's one of the best laners this game has seen. He last hits almost everything. Dan was saying that, Doublelift sometimes loses lane. He rarely loses in farm. And right there, he just surpassed Graves in last hits. The waves will now reset. Doublelift, again, just keeping up.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job and actually almost equaling the build. 150 gold plus a few potions set these guys apart. He just has to finish those Zerkgreaves. So these guys are actually quite close from Doublelift being forced to farm under his turret for the past 5-10 minutes.
Yep. So Doublelift's going to get the farm. Chowster pretty much stops any would-be aggression because he can just land that ultimate, put that taunt down. Can also slow with his Resolute Smite, that Q ability. So, Chowster's just going to be fine here, keeping his teammate alive. And actually, he doesn't want to roam. He actually wants to soak up XP. Dyrus now getting jumped on top lane. Nocturne comes by to make that a more equal fight, and immediately the Karthus ultimate goes off. They don't want to risk anything. Karthus will ult, and Hazard will fall immediately. He is under farm. Next up is Hotshot GG. He's trying to run away, but he is being slowed. Aldrin has red. Dyrus has his Q. They're going to chase into the turret, and Hotshot will fall down as well. They've both picked up that kill there on that dive. And Reginald just staying farther and farther ahead. 100-something ability power on him. When a team fight starts, he presses R. He just presses it. Doesn't want to risk anything. He's not trying to kill steal. He wants the fight to go well for his team.
Right.
You don't need to get kills to win a fight. You need to get them out, and you need to go ahead and take the minions or the turrets or whatever. Kills are nice, of course. He puts that on there, gets them all low, says, go do your thing, we got this. And he's getting free assists because of it.
Yeah, exactly. Where did Karthus go during that? He went nowhere. He stayed in his lane as farmed. He pressed R, got 2 assists. Already has that Rod of Ages built. We saw that previously 12 minutes in a game as well. So by 20, 23 minutes, he is going to be very tanky and have a good amount of AP on that Rod of Ages. Already into the Blasting Wand, possibly that fast Rabadons, or something else we will really have to see. There have been a lot of Abyssal Scepters in this tournament, but for Karthus right now, he's going to want that AP percentage.
Yeah, and this is what Solomid is doing. And you know, they grabbed Nautilus because they wanted to engage. They didn't grab him because they wanted to pair globals together, but it worked out for, I keep getting the names wrong. Team Solomid grabbed Nocturne as an engage. It was a nice benefit that, oh, we have two, you know, globals or quasi-globals in our lineup, so when a fight happens, two teammates can show up, you know, and Karthus, of course, only shows up in limited capacity, only the ultimate, not the rest of his kit, but Nocturne shows up in full, and you can just see, you know, Counterlogic Gaming, they create these 2v1 scenarios, but they turn into 2v3s that just backfire every single time. And I still think they're not used to this Kale because these ganks are not doing anything to Kale. She's just casting invulnerability on herself and not falling over.
As they're moving up top here, Hotshot Requiem comes down, totally chunked out, and the next hit by Dyrus. Dyrus 3-1-1, 17 minutes into the game, playing very well for his team, and they are just babysitting that lane top. They know Hazard can do damage if left alone, and they are completely trying to take him out of this game.
And just every time Reginald presses R, says, oh, there's a fight, cool, let's get some more assists, and he is just making these fights happen. That Karthus pick is gigantic for Solomid in this game.
Yeah, Hazard and Hotshot both in that top lane, and they can, and TSM doing whatever they can to grab both of them when they're in that top lane. We saw Hazard go down a little bit ago. Now that Hotshot went down as well. 1-1 on Hazard, 0-3 on Hotshot. It looks like TSM kind of had his number on this Nautilus build. Maybe they were checking out those previous matches. This is going to be his 4th game of Nautilus in a row, and it looks like they will initiate down on with Paranoia. Chaos into that Idol of Durand from Chowster, but he will be able to break that taunt that Galio has, and they are going to be able to get out of this one. Xpecial may go down. That will not be advantageous. He does have an Oracle's killing spree for Dyrus as he quickly turns around on a one-on-one situation and takes down Galio quite quickly. Now Hotshot going for that dredge line. He does land it. Dyrus locked out, now taunted. Hazard trying to do the damage. Dyrus with his ultimate down, turns on to Big Fat LP. Rune Prison will still allow Dyrus to attack, and he is going to be able to take him out with the help of the odd one. They are now pushing back Hazard and Hotshot GG. It looks like they get smoked and slowed. The wall of pain. Could this be the ace they're looking for? It's going to be Hotshot down. Hazard follows shortly after, and Galio finally coming up towards the ace, but all 5 members of CLG did fall.
Wow, a phenomenal fight right there. I got to give props to the odd one for actually landing a perfect Shroud of Darkness, that spell shield to block the Galio ultimate up by that turret. Just walked out of that with no downsides whatsoever, and just beautiful coordination. Anytime someone got focused, Dyrus was able to get a perfect ult there. Xpecial got shields out, and just everyone dealt so very much damage. By the end, Reginald showed up as well, landed that flash wall of pain to ensure that they could not escape. They picked up those last 2 kills thanks to those heroics.
Good Dragon pickup right there. 10-1. 20 minutes into the game, a 10,000 gold lead, a 3-turret lead, 4-1 in favor of Team Solomid. Low mana for Xpecial, and the odd one is they auto-attack the blue golem to death, denying that experience for CLG. Now as they go towards a red buff, I'm going to get this on Nautilus or Shen. Either will work. Both get in the fight, and both are auto-attacking. It looks like it's going to Shen on that one. He is going to be the first one to get in there, as well as with the Stand United. Corki now moving down bottom, kind of returning to the lane that he left a little earlier. That bottom lane wasn't used for very long, and now that he takes it back up, he's going to have some free farm down there, but still no wards for CLG in that river. Very dangerous position for double lift to be in. Looks like he will back. A lot of the focus right now towards that top half of the map as the waves are being cleared, and Hotshot is just making sure the jungle's safe.
Yeah, and there we go. You just see that Corki getting his way back. Choosing not to push the turret. You can see Chaos kind of doing the same thing. Letting the minions actually sit there and get his turret low. I'm surprised he's doing that as opposed to pushing. And there we go. Clears it out finally. Realizes, yeah, all right, let's just make this easy. We see Chaos said, actually, you know what? I will push this time. Going ahead and just crush those minions down. And,
yeah, you got vision in middle of Galio and Big Fat. There's a ward that just saw Nautilus as well, and Shen was farming top. So, you know, Chaos with very good map awareness right now, even walking through the river without knowledge of wards, that's a little dangerous, but he is going to be safe.
Wow, and you just look at these builds though. Solomid, they're just so far ahead. They've got the Bloodthirster Zeal on Graves, and that's cool. He's got some good burst damage, but Dyrus just did so well in his lane. He's got 5 kills. He's already got an Infinity Edge to go with those 3 Doran's Blades, and he's just going to get so very big in these fights. I don't see how Counterlogic Gaming can actually stop it.
No, it's going to get very scary. And Kale, with being able to increase the attack range as well as slow the team, is just somebody that can stay on the outside and return to the fight when she wants, while really giving her ult to Dyrus, giving his ult to somebody or himself who's ever going to go down first and really thwart that damage. It's like a free roaming Zhonya's.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, again, they want to focus with crowd control, right? Hotshot's going to choose one target for his ultimate. Haz is going to dive onto, generally speaking, one champion. Oh, Chowster getting jumped on by that wall of pain and instantly drops down. I don't know why he face checked the wall of pain, though. He saw it come up there and just, walked into that slow, dropped down. Solomid capitalizing, and now they found Hotshot. This is not going to be good. They've landed the fear, and wow, nice by Odd1. Ran in front to make sure he would fear through the flash. And Hotshot taking so much damage through the Shen ult, does not matter. And now Big Fat up in the mix. Reginald getting an ultimate to keep himself alive. Doublelift will pick up Xpecial. He's now going to try to run. This is a 2 versus 4 right now. Doublelift taking a lot of damage. Can he pick up Dyrus? Almost does, but Dyrus gets him back. Chaos picks up another kill there. And now can Big Fat do enough here? Picks across his ult, finds Chaos in the face. Can he do enough damage? Tries to, does not quite get it. 50 health for Chaos. They did almost turn that fight around.
Yeah, that was an amazing job, and like you said, the Odd1 tethered, but made sure he was in front of Hotshot, so when Hotshot flashed, he did not break the Fear Terror, and that was a very nice job there, well thought out. The mechanics were played perfectly. Chowster went down quite quick, so he was back up first, and you can see playing Galio as a support, you have to be very careful. He's not as tanky as usual, and even Bulwark isn't going to help you as much.
Yeah, he's just been taking so much damage so quickly.
Stack armor now then.
Just go like a giant spell or whatever. Go Warmogs, dude.
Armor may be better for it.
All right, a little bit of talk there from Team Solomid up in their booth. I'm looking at that last fight though, and CLG did better than expected. Really, they lost. 2 got picked off for free basically, but they turned that around with 2 kills, and it was 2 kills from a very, very bad scenario. And again, they have a team fight composition there. They have a Galio there who wants to pull everyone in. They have a Ryze who can wreak havoc if he's not messed with. Doublelift the same way on Corki. And so I think if Counterlogic Gaming can just kind of group together and make that fight happen for real, right? Galio can ult, and then Shen can ult on top of him to make sure he doesn't fall. They have some really good synergies there. They can really make these fights pretty crazy.
Yeah, their team works together so well. This composition of, as you said, quasi-global ultimates, and it just happens so easily for Reginald. He's been able to pick up kills. The Rod of Ages now almost fully stacked for him, and he has the Rabadons that he was looking to get for fast. That was not an Abyssal Scepter. It didn't turn into anything else. That Rabadons is going to give him an increased ability power by 30%, which jacks him all the way up to an ability power of 451. The initiation by the Dredge line, but it does miss. Karthus flashes in, gets the Kale ultimate, and he's just going to lay waste and defile everything in his path. Big Fat falls down. We are going to see Reginald go down as well as Hotshot trying to get out here by the skin of his teeth also falls, and it looks like they will have an open inhibitor turret to take down, and then the inhibitor right after.
Yeah, 3 for 1 in that fight. A perfect job of stopping Chowster's ultimate. I gotta think that was Janna, just waited for that and then completely canceled that taunt. If that had gone any different, if Janna had not broken that, that would have been a very different fight because Counterlogic Gaming was able to do a lot of damage. Reginald got burned down very, very quickly. And, you get 2 seconds of free action with a turret there, you're gonna get a lot going on. There's not a giant front line for Team Solomid. They've got Odd1 on Nocturne. He's a bit tanky, but that guy can fall. And then you've only got ranged champions. And, aside from that Kale ultimate, you don't have a lot of tools to keep them alive once they get focused down. So, Xpecial, I think, really carried that team fight.
He has been doing really well. You got to focus on what he does. He puts himself in the front of the fight to really take the bulk of the damage. And usually the support will be able to take, 3 to 4 spells and then shield it up. That 4th one, is going to kind of make people think differently about how they use their cooldowns. And the fight initiation comes out very big. Xpecial's good at doing that and understanding how much his support can take in damage before he needs to back out and really help his team engage in the fight.
Yeah, Chester clearing down that Wraith camp, getting himself some gold. We saw that before, actually, that he started last hitting minions partway through the matchup. He had 80+ minions last I saw him against, I forget which match I was looking at, but you know, there was one that someone referenced. Chowster actually had second most gold on the team, or at least had outfarmed everyone else on the enemy team there. So, you know, we'll see if that can become a carry for them. He's going to get tanky. He's going to be a good initiator, and he will start doing a lot of damage as he gets some items. So, you know, it's not really shameful to see a Galio get farmed.
You know, and to quickly touch on Xpecial once more, as I was reading tweets yesterday, I did see him say that he felt that he was using his summoner spells too carelessly and actually feeding quite a bit. So we can see how those changes are being implemented and how they're really affecting the TSM play now.
Yeah, well, he's 0-1-13. He's been part of most of the kills on his team. Dyer's been a part of 15 of the 18, though, been very involved in his team's success. And Solomid going for what might be a game-ending push if the fight goes right. Instant initiation in from Nautilus and Shen. Galio going in, and there we go, the early Janna ult. So now Galio might turn around. Let's see what happens here. Actually, everyone just going to disengage. Chowster learned Xpecial's habits. Said, you're going to ult here. Held it off, but he took a lot of damage, and there's the Karthus ultimate. Could be bad. Chowster almost falling down. Just barely survives that one, but Solomid still ready to push in. They had minions to tank that, and that turret has fallen. They're now on to the inhibitor. Counterlogic Gaming needs to make something happen if they want to survive. Looks like they'll get this inhibitor, but the initiation comes in. Xpecial has been caught. Hotshot drops immediately. Retro going to get jumped on. There's the taunt. He does not die. There he finally goes down. Chowster ult blocked out by that Janna, and this is a fight that's going very, very well. Corki drops down to that Chaos snipe, and now Chowster forced to run away in a 1v2. Will fall down to Dyrus, and that is the ace picked up for Team Solomid, and they are on to the Nexus.
Yes, they are going to take down these turrets. The first one falls. The second Nexus turret is down. The Nexus is open. The first game goes to Team Solomid in your grand finals here. Championship Sunday, MLG Anaheim 2012. There is going to be a spring champion at the end of these games. Solomid picking up that first one. One more for them, and they can clinch that victory.
Yes, indeed. They just need one game to win. Reginald actually, at the end of that game, managed to get back to base, sold his last 3 items for Majai's Soul Stealer. So his end game build, for those of you watching at home and want to emulate, Health Potion, Rod of Ages, Rabbidan's Death Cap, Majai's. Pro build, you should try it. Really, really strong there. Actually, Odd One, you know, looking to get a Randwoods in his build right there, had the Heart of Gold, Chain Vest, and a Rejuvenation bead. 2 Wits Ends on that team. Chaos, just every time I've seen him on Graves, actually going for that Bloodthirster into Phantom Dancer and then building up the Infinity Edge. He just loves that Bloodthirster Graves build, and he's getting that, so he has a very, basically it's the cheapest way to get 100 attack damage. He just wants to get as much damage as possible to get that burst combo going and just blow people up by, you know, using his spells more so than his auto attacks. And actually, I've been watching him play. Every single time he's maxing Smokescreen second. So he's not functioning as a default attack damage carry. He's functioning a bit as a burst caster. As you put points into that smoke bomb, not only are you lowering its cooldown and increasing its damage, but also increasing its slow. And so you're stuck in the smoke bomb for longer. And so he's saying, hey, I'm bringing utility to my team. I'm slowing people down, blinding them in these fights, and I'm going to burst for some spells. My auto attack's less relevant.
Yeah, these guys have been playing absolutely amazing, and Team Solomid being the favorite right now and actually showing that the practice they've been doing, the team house, absolutely paying off. CLG, however, with that first loss, is going to have to rethink how this second game is going to play out for them. I think Karthus is definitely going to be a ban in this game. That was way too big for TSM to be grabbing assists and kills without being there.
Yeah, I think Counterlogic Gaming also needs to find a way to deal with Kale, and we'll see what they end up doing to deal with this. They need to win these next few games. We'll find out right after this break.